Hey there, VCE HHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VCE Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, we're going to consider how VCE Unit 3 for HHD is different from Unit 1 to HHD. So this is often something that students are contemplating if they're completing Unit 1 to HHD and then thinking about moving on to Unit 3 for the following year. And so hopefully this video will give you a bit of an overview of how the content and assessment is different for Unit 3-4 compared to Unit 1-2. I obviously really recommend completing Unit 3 for HHD. I think it's a great subject, but hopefully this video will help you make an informed decision. So in terms of the content, this is just a bit of an overview of some of the differences. So there are new health status indicators introduced in Unit 3 for HHD. So for example, infant mortality and under 5 mortality are a couple of examples. You do also drop off a couple of the health status indicators from Unit 1-2. There's also a move away from focusing on Australia's youth, which I know is sort of littered throughout Unit 1-2, and there's more of a focus in Unit 3 on Australian-wide population groups, such as Indigenous or non-Indigenous Australians, those living within and outside major cities, and you're considering a lot of the differences in health status and linking those to various factors, such as sociocultural, biological factors, etc. Also, in Area Study 2, in Unit 3, there's an emphasis in changes in Australia's health status over time. So we look at, since the early 1900s, how there have been changes in Australia's health status, and what are some examples of health promotion initiatives that have influenced this. We also focus in Unit 4 on global health and human development, so that's obviously quite different to Unit 1-2, and so this really opens up to us considering the health and well-being and human development of countries beyond Australia's borders, and we also look at sustainability, so different dimensions of sustainability such as economic, environmental and social, and how they influence health and well-being and human development. We also consider some global trends, so things like climate change and mass migration, and how across the globe they're influencing health and well-being. And then there's also a focus on national and international organisations. So we look at the Australian Aid Program as well as the World Health Organization and how they're influencing health and well-being and human development. In terms of assessment, so it's quite different to Unit 1-2 that you're now focusing on SACs instead of assessment tasks, and these SACs and the rankings that they form become quite important in the contribution to your HHD study score. So I'll be doing a video on SAC rankings coming up if you're interested in that, so keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for that. There's also a greater emphasis on questions in assessment that are worth more marks than the usual sort of 1, 2 or 3 marks and worth 4 to 6 marks, as well as the extended response question. So that comes up in the exam at the end of the year, but it's often introduced in SACs throughout the year at schools, worth 8, 9 or 10 marks. So these questions worth more marks are then often linked to more stimulus material than sources. And so it's really an opportunity for students to demonstrate they're able to apply the knowledge and skills that they've learnt in Unit 3-4, which is often quite different from Unit 1-2, where there's not such a focus on these types of application questions. There's also a greater time pressure in Unit 3-4 assessments, as often the amount of time given to complete them is reduced, so that better reflects the mark to time ratio in the exam at the end of the year. So students often find that there's a bit more time pressure compared to assessments in Unit 1-2. Okay, so hopefully you found that video quite useful. There's a whole heap of videos available already on the Health Resources Hub YouTube channel, and a new one will be coming out now and every day between now and the end of the year exam. So if you'd like to access those, please subscribe to the YouTube channel there. I'm also presenting an exam preparation revision lecture for ACE for HHD at the end of the year, as well as biology. So if you're interested in attending those, you can head to book.acevce.com, or you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, or send us an email at info@thehrh.net.au. Thanks so much.